Europeans rushed to social media platforms to mock Boris Johnson's decision to allow British businesses to go back to the imperial measures system. UK ministers have set out plans for the return of the crown stamp on pint glasses and pledged to review a ban on marking and selling products in imperial units. The move was sneered at by European citizens on Twitter, claiming Boris Johnson has beer in his brain. Alex Taylor, a French user, said, "I'm not inventing anything." In their post Brexit delirium, to no longer be metric martyrs it is the return to imperial measures in flag of United Kingdom. Like in the good old days, 16 ounces again equals 1 pound. And 14 pounds equals 1 stone. They are serious. Another French user Aridius said, "Hey, we're not going anymore. You don't know how to get around your thumbs, feet and pounds. And then there are better fish and chips in France." Using clown emojis, their fellow countryman, Pierre Basin added, "Johnson will reintroduce the outdated imperial system of weights and measures. And soon back to shillings and pence too." From Italy, Ermanno Ferretti wrote, "As the population ages, the winning weapon in politics always becomes nostalgia." Whilst Italian user David Caretta added, "Brexit, well, the pound, the ounce and the inch are a great recapture of civilization. And let it be said, by the way, it was already legal for the UK to bring back the British imperial system thanks to an exception under EU rules. This grand patriotic initiative will at best increase domestic costs for British industries exporting to the EU." Fabio Taiocchi replied, "Rule Britannia." But did Johnson realize that the empire is long gone? "I don't know who can think that this idea of global Britain will be successful." Angelo, another Italian user, said, "Beer instead of the brain." Spanish users also reacted to the news. Jorge wrote, "They are like goats. My younger co-workers, in their 20s, don't use more than SI. They don't measure in miles, they measure in km. And of course, they don't use weights in ounces or pounds. It's a toast to the sun. But it is a gesture of how populist the government is." And Francisco J. Franco joked, "Please could I have half a 12th of fanega of beans for the fabada?" Vingard, another Spanish user, added, "Boris wants to go back to the old Commonwealth except that on the way he has left the wealth." The move came as Brexit Minister Lord Frost set out plans to ditch Brussels rules and claimed gloom mongers have been proved wrong following the UK's departure from the European Union. The government intends to review the content of retained EU law, which was preserved in UK law for continuity after the transition period ended in December 2020. Lord Frost's comments came despite ongoing uncertainty over Northern Ireland's trading arrangements and shortages in shops across the UK, which critics say Brexit has exacerbated. The minister told Peer, "A lot of things haven't happened that the gloom mongers said would happen and I don't think are going to happen." He said, "This economy and this country is prospering vastly already under the arrangements that we are putting in place," adding, "High standards need to reflect the context we are operating in. I am sure there will be change, but don't believe those changes will result in regression of standards." He said the purpose of the reforms was to improve the productivity of the UK by putting in place regulations that are tailored to our conditions. Measures include omitting the voluntary printing of the crown stamp on pint glasses, and reviewing the EU ban on markings and sales in pounds and ounces, with legislation in due course. Other reforms include introducing digital driving licenses, test certificates and MOT processes. Shareholders will be able to have digital certificates instead of paper ones, and regulations governing clinical trials and medical devices will be changed. Lord Frost insisted, "We are a high standards country. That doesn't mean we don't intend to change them. The world moves on. High standards need to reflect the context we are operating in. I am sure there will be change, but don't believe those changes will result in regression of standards. In the Commons, the Shadow International Trade Secretary, Emily Thornberry, was scathing about what she sarcastically described as the marvelous Brexit deal which is working so well at present. She said, "The country faces continuing shortages of staff and supplies exacerbated by the government's Brexit deal, while businesses across the country face mounting losses in trade with Europe. In Northern Ireland, people remain stuck in limbo as the government refuses to implement the Brexit deal that they negotiated," she said. Into all of that along comes the new Paymaster General to talk about all the wonderful opportunities that await us because of the marvelous Brexit deal which is working so well at present.